Welcome back to Reconnect Her Fire, and I'm Joanne, manifesting coach for women entrepreneurs. And today I want to speak to you about what it feels like and what happens when you reconnect to yourself, when you come home back to your soul, and instead of relying on this 3D world that can feel so hostile, and it becomes so easy when you start to go inwards, when you do the work and you choose yourself and you raise your standards and you decide that actually you do deserve more in life and you're fed up to the point that you can't actually carry on where you are now, that is where you are trying to be heard. Your soul is screaming out at you, and it often brings us to our knees, whether that's illness, whether that is an end of a relationship, whether it feels like the whole world around you, the 3D world, is crumbling and everything seems to be torn apart and things are just going so wrong that you've lost control and you can't control it anymore, actually can be the very start of you connecting to yourself. And yes, it does sound scary. Yes, it does sound intimidating, because actually it's what matters the most, because we can't have two identities living together. And in order for us to step into our new identity, the version that has what we want, our desires, our dreams, the other one has to crumble. And sometimes it can look far worse than actually what was supposed to happen in the first place. So I'm going to crack on and start with the very first things you're going to notice when you do reconnect yourself. The number one thing I noticed straight away was my self-trust and self-belief in myself that actually maybe I am worthy of having more. Maybe there could be something out there for me. I had always worked for the previous 12 years before I had my huge awakening was within NHS. But the job had limited me in where I could go, how much I could earn, how much I could learn. It was very, very limited at the point that I reached and had enough and couldn't continue it anymore. I really couldn't. I really had to leave because I was just so fed up. Every day was deja vu. And it wasn't the NHS's role. It was basically my soul asking me, come on, we need to move on. This wasn't supposed to be here for all your life. This was just a point that you now need to move on. But because I didn't believe I was worthy of more, or even that I could learn anything different, nothing interested me, to be honest, then I become really quite depressed and quite anxious that where was I going to go? How was I going to even earn a living? And what was I supposed to do? Because nobody around me was making any bold leaps or jumps. So not until I actually said, I've had enough now and I can't do this anymore. And I actually handed my notice in on that role. Now, that can feel a little bit overwhelming in itself. But I followed that up by then selling my house, because there was only me paying the mortgage. So without the NHS role, I had to let go of more. But there was something inside of me that was saying there is more to life. You have got so much more to experience and offer, and you need to take these risks, these jumps. And part of me just didn't have the energy to refuse it. So I took these. Now, I'm not saying yours are going to be as big as bold as mine, but they might be the fact where you are at the moment that's leaving you feeling so drained, so exhausted, no enthusiasm. You can't even see yourself in a different role because you don't believe there is anything else out there for you at the moment. So it wasn't until I started to learn that I had to go inside here, that I could actually change the whole system within me. All the programs which I wasn't even aware of that were running, my thoughts, my actions, my behaviours, creating the outcomes, the deja vu feelings, repeating the same patterns, the habits which weren't healthy, until I realised I could change it and I started to do that inner work, nothing changed. And over the last few years, and I will continue to do this the rest of my life, is continuously now use all of this new identity work day in, day out. And I teach this in my 12-week coaching and my 6-month program, which I've just launched. Because identity work is when we choose the identity of the version of ourselves that we would want to be to have what it is we are stepping into. And we know we need to do more. And often we just think it's more hours. We put in more graft. We concentrate harder on the work that we're currently doing. We don't actually realise it's nothing to do with doing more work. It's actually about calming down, allowing the nervous system to relax, to feel safe, to want to expand and hold more. And that comes in through simple practices like meditation, mindfulness, reading books that will expand your consciousness, that inquire, that make you get curious about who you are. Because until we've got self-awareness, nothing changes. Nothing changes. We try to change the 3D world around us, and we know it's impossible. We can't create what we want. And if we do, we end up forcing things away from us more than we actually become the magnet towards them. And you know people that suddenly always seem to be so lucky, or they just seem to fall at the right place at the right time. And it's nothing to do with that. It's because their belief system has allowed them to become the magnet to what it is they want. So often the clients will say to me, they didn't even have an awareness of who they were. They couldn't even believe that these beliefs were holding them and making them feel so. And when they changed them, they couldn't believe how quick life changed for them. That opportunities showed up, that money just seemed to come in, that relationships improved so dramatically, so quick, that they were a bit stumbled themselves, but the evidence was there. And I use this on myself all the time because we are constantly being challenged in life. Life is there to challenge us, and without challenges, it becomes a little bit stagnant and boring. But wouldn't it be easier to feel more in flow, more grateful for challenges instead of fearing them and letting them dictate our life? So what happens? When you first start to reconnect to yourself, your self-trust comes in. And that means you're less likely to be asking everybody else for their opinion and taking it at your heart's core like you used to be. You then allow yourself not to do the things that you knew weren't good for you because you trust there is a better option. And you start to want to improve your life, where before it was just so stagnant and unappealing, there wasn't any reason to change. But now you start to feel, actually, maybe this can help me and maybe I can feel better. And even dietary changes can happen because when they do and you're eating a healthier lifestyle and you're living a healthier lifestyle, your whole body responds in a new and better way. But what really got me was the mindset changes. The fact I can change daily. I don't have to be the person I was yesterday, let alone an hour ago. And I can upgrade my identity every single moment of the day. And that is what really got me so involved in this work, to realize I can help people without the hustle, without the force, and allow the natural energy that we are connect to the higher energy, the divine energy, the source that co-creates with us. And that's the truth. Finding out your truth, standing in your power, believing in yourself, feeling the confidence, feeling that you are capable of creating all of those desires, that actually they're all available for you if you choose them. Because you'll suddenly become unavailable for the things that don't match you anymore. And this is where you'll notice what I would call the life changes, the crumbling. It might be people around you. It might be your current friends that suddenly they're just not relating. You're not on the same wave anymore because you aren't. Your frequency has changed. You start moving in a different way. You want more. And maybe that was comfortable where you were. And maybe now you want more. So actually, the people around you that are trying to keep you back down where you are, they want you to be where they are. They don't want you to rise. That's natural. That's a natural human thing to do. So it's not even malicious. But actually, you need to find a new set of friends. You need to find new activities and new environments that level you up, that actually help you rise. So this is the things, and these are the ways that you can do this. Is each week start to go to somewhere different, far nicer. Take yourself to the 5-star hotels, go and have a coffee, pay the £8-10, but enjoy it. You're in a consciousness of a higher level. And take yourself somewhere that you wouldn't normally go. Enjoy it. And don't feel guilty for doing it. Because until you start to embody the new version of you, nothing really changes. But you're going to notice the more you start to connect to you, you'll make decisions faster. You won't hesitate. You won't be waiting weeks or months and humbling about and tiptoeing and waiting for everybody else's opinion and asking everybody else. You'll start to get more decisive, which gives you more clarity, which gives you more self-confidence. You become more confident naturally just by leveling up, just by that personal growth. And when you reconnect to your soul, and maybe you're doing the meditation daily, maybe you're doing some journaling with some really deep questions to answer to help you to move forward, maybe that's what you needed all along. And suddenly you're not self-sabotaging anymore. And you aren't hesitating anymore because actually you know you can do it. But this time you'll probably go out and get some help and realize you didn't have to do this all by yourself. You're going to make decisions fast, but you're going to raise your standards, and you'll want to raise your standards. So this is again when you'll start to see things, relationships, maybe work, maybe home, maybe friends, maybe even family start to irritate and start to rub up the wrong way. And don't take it personal. It's just your frequencies no longer align. And it doesn't mean you've got to cut these people out of your life and they're doing something wrong. Just wish them well, but find the people that actually you do feel connected to. And there is a gap. There is a space between that, which can feel excessively lonely. But it's not there to make you lonely. It's there to help you find yourself again and be the best version of you, who you can be. That quiet space, enjoy it. It's your nervous system starting to calm down, to reset, to feel safe, not in the hectic, the over-anxiety, not in the fast racing, frequency that it's probably been in for far too long, and it needs space and it needs time for it to naturally start to settle. Because the more you do work with your nervous system in calming it down, the faster things happen. So actually, when you feel that your friends are all leaving you or you're just not getting on, but there isn't suddenly a rush of new ones coming in, this is the perfect space and this is totally normal, and embrace it. Go outside by yourself. Get the confidence to take yourself out for meals on your own. Explore places. Get out in nature. Nature's fantastic. It's the most healing place you can be in without actually knowing you're being healed, because it's just there and it's available for everyone. Even if it's a local park, go and sit by a tree, read a book. But nature will help you on your journey, and it's the best way to do it. So let yourself now realize that actually when you reconnect to yourself, you are becoming the very best version that you can be. And you are using all the resources that were given to you since birth that you weren't even aware of. Because no one showed us how to reconnect. No one explained we had to go inwards, because until we change what's inwards, it cannot show up outside of us. So until we do the work, we can't literally change the things outside of us for the better. They don't. They'll often come into our life, but they won't stay. So when you reconnect and you choose yourself, things happen fast in the beginning. So don't fear it, just enjoy it. But if you would like to know more, and especially about my coaching program, which I've just launched, and this is an identity shift. This is 6 months of continuous work in guiding, supporting, helping you become the next level time and time again. So if you're interested, DM me, leave me a message. But take on board what I've said today. Listen to it again, because literally the more you hear this work, the more your soul will start to crave it. I love this work. I study, I get coached myself. I look for more inspirational work around me all the time. It's not just a job. It's just not a company. It's who I am. And I'm so passionate about this because it changes lives for the better. And if you're ready to make a leap, then start to ask a few questions. What is it I truly want in life? And I want you to write all the wants. I don't want there to be limits. There's no such thing as limitation. That's just something we've put on ourselves. And write them out and read them through every day. And ask yourself, if I was the version of me who had all of these desires, what would I be doing differently today? How would I be showing up differently? And what would I need? And who could support and help me to get there? And then take one of those simple things and start implementing it on a daily basis. Whether that's a daily meditation, 10, 15 minutes. Whether that's getting a new book and reading. All about self-improvement. All about the mindset, the subconscious mind. Understanding yourself. Gaining more self-awareness. But finding out what it is that you truly came here to do.